Good afternoon from Waverly, Ohio. Jim McCleary here in the McGolf Fitting Room. This is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. And why is it a golf talk and what's in my drawers? Because old club fitters, club makers, club fitters have a lot of stuff in their drawers, and that's what we normally talked about. However, it's gotten to be a little bit bigger than that. So now we talk about golf fittings, repairs, and opinions. So that's what we're here for today. And as you can see, I've darkened it a little bit so you can see the outside. That's the bays. And right now it's sprinkling over there. It's actually not too bad, but it's not too bad at all. Little green in the background never hurt anybody, so we're good to go. So a couple of things. We're going to do some stuff in reverse. Let's do the winners, right? The winners. And the Valspar Championship that I think everybody probably watched. It was quite entertaining. We saw Keegan Bradley just take off like a shot, keeping in mind most of the times -7 to -7, -10 or something like that was normally the winner, and he was out to -12. Unfortunately for him, Sam Burns just caught fire and ended up -17 to Keegan's even, shooting a -14. Victor Hovland shot a -6 to get to -13, and Cameron Tringali got to -13. And to give a little love to the guy that actually finished, it was Keith Mitchell, shot a +11 to get to +9 today. That had to hurt. And my boy Phil didn't make it. He shot an even. On another note, we had the HSB Women's Championship, right? And Hyo-Ju Kim, hopefully I said that right. No disrespect intended. And then Hannah Green, -17, -16, respectfully. And let's see, one more there. There's one more in there. The Insperity Invitational. Let's see what we got there. Oh, the Insperity Invitational. That's the senior tournament. Mike Weir's back in the leaderboard again. About that. Went -4 to a -10. John Daly came in -8. Look at that for second place. So well done for those guys. Big hats off and congratulations, right? Good for them. All righty. Back to, stuff we did for the weekend, for the week, that kind of thing. You guys know that I like cooking out on the grill, and this weekend was no different. And I just wanted to show you what we made over the weekend. That. And that. Spare ribs. Spare ribs was the meal of the day. And they're getting better each time around. That RecTech is a thing. I don't do anything with RecTech. They don't give me anything to say, any of that kind of stuff. I just got to tell you that I am extraordinarily happy with the way that it came out. All right. Other things is my dad and I went golfing. On Sunday, he rides with me, and I enjoy it immensely. And that Sunday, I actually broke 80 for a 79, and it looked like it was going to be just a absolute buzzsaw going through there. I shot one over on the front, only to run into a double and another double and a par with three putts in a row. So yeah, it was awful. But I got the wheels back on it in the last 5 holes and parred out. So 42 on the back, so not too bad. And ended up. So this was my first birdie hole. We started off here. Yes, that's a Callaway. Yes, I'm on staff. But that's the LS, and 2 shots later on a par 4, that's where I lay. So not too bad at all. I had to do that. I'm doing that for my buddy Matt, because I'm sure he went out this weekend. As far as work goes, did a ton of work. The most, and I'm giving a nod to probably the most coolest repair in a while now, as far as just something you don't see every day, and it's this guy. Yeah, an S2H2 fairway wood, and obviously it's the number 3 model, and this is a bore through. This is the finished product. That's what it looks like when you're all done. And the shaft I put in it was the Acra FX 3.0. So it went in there together. Now back into this guy. If I get over here and I go, let's see if I can do it right. There we go. So that the S2H2 is what gives it away, right? And what that means is that it was one of the earliest models that they had. And if you saw, it looks really big on the picture, but it was about this much bigger than the golf ball. Okay, just about that much bigger. It's very, very small. The head on it was very, very tall. The thing probably wasn't that big around. All right, if I had a golf ball, I'd show you, but if it wasn't probably that big around, and it was in extraordinarily good shape. The paint on it was pretty good, except for the hitting area, which that tends to go with it. And it was in 2, and it had the firm flex, which was just above stiff, just below X in that time frame. Why they called it that, I don't know. And the shaft we put in it was an Acra FX fairway wood shaft. It was specifically designed for fairway woods. So the tip is a little bit more brutish to hold that extra weight and stuff. So it worked out pretty good. And so I really, really like how it turned out. I mean, very, very clean, right? No gouges, none of that other stuff. No burn marks around the bottom. I'm just real happy with it. Which takes me into the next part is the video that's going to go out tomorrow is on that repair. So if you're really interested on bore-throughs, particularly old ones, and some of the things, because I did run into a catch, and it's an important catch. I've done repairs on guys who didn't, or gals, that didn't repair them in a similar fashion, and I ended up having to go through it. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, that is what's going to be next. Okay. Onward to my soapbox time. I need a little thing that just says soapbox, like right across the bottom, don't I? And so fittings. Let's talk fittings again this week. I've had just a bunch of fittings that the golfers were easily over 75 years old. 77, 78, 80, 83, and 84, maybe. And all these guys were just, devout golfers. One was an Army Ranger. And the stories that you can pick up are just nothing short of spectacular. However, all these guys had the same drive to wanting to hit the ball far, but knew that they had limitations and was just looking to see what they could do to maximize distance, maximize a lot of things that are out there. And we did. We worked on that quite a bit. And in order to get them, into lighter clubs, ones that they could hit square, ones they could hit straight, there was always that. And it's funny to see, there's times when the swing speed gets so slow that having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is not going to work, right? Because the gaps need to be further apart in order for you to actually have a real gap. And instead of a 3, maybe 4 degree gap, you need to go to 5, right? And where a lot of your shots are going to be, particularly when you're slower, you're like, oh, I need all these clubs at the top. Well, no, not really. You need all those clubs at the bottom, because your short game is going to be, that's where you're going to win a lot of your contest at. The idea is ball go far, and you don't want too many over top. You don't want like a 2, 3, and a 4 hybrid or fairway wood, because you probably hit your 3 and your 5 pretty close to the same distance, or your 5 and your 7, whatever that might be. And you just don't want them on laying on top of each other. And you say, well, why not the irons? Well, the same thing goes with the irons at the top end. Pardon me. Where I would start considering the differences is around there, the 7 iron, 7, 8-ish, and not, above that, maybe every other, but below that, be right on it. And that's what we did in a lot of cases in order to give them a better shot at going low and hitting it far. And there were some guys, there was guys throwing it out, 200, 210. So there's no slouching going on out there. So and which brings me to the last point about this is when you do these things, when when you do fittings and you go into a place that's just about crank them in, crank them out, is that they're going to look at you, see the white hair, and they're going to go, oh, you're an old guy, and try and throw you into senior flex, particularly if you have a fluid swing. Well, and you may fit into that. However, there you might have this aggressive swing in which an R flex might be there, or even a stiff. I put one guy who was in his late 60s into a stiff flex just because of the sheer magnitude of that swing, just trying to power through it, and it works, right? And so it just it goes to show you that everybody's different. That's the reason why fittings are important, and getting it, no matter where your age is at. Now, the question will be, well, if I'm a very beginning golfer, do I need one, right? And what I would say is, you may need one, but does it need to be as detailed as one that I would put you through? Chances are no, right? But having making sure your height is right for the length and get you into the ballpark, the lie angle is good, have you swing just to get you a swing speed so you're in the ballpark with that one, get you in a good grip so you're comfortable and you really enjoy your clubs, right then and there, right? Just get you real close and then go out and play, gain that experience, see what you like about the clubs, what you don't like about the clubs, and then go through another one where you've had that 6 months of playing a lot or that 1 year of playing a lot under your belt in order to go, right? And then that way you still get the best of both worlds, because maybe you can modify what you currently have. Maybe you didn't pay a lot to get started, and it won't hurt you to garage sale them or sell them to somebody else that's getting started in order to upgrade your set. Something along the lines. We all have different needs and different aspects on the way golf is. But the idea is it's money well spent, right? When you go get this fitting, then you know exactly what you need. Whether you buy it from the fitter or not is irrelevant. And you can go and you've paid the money, do your thing, and get what you want, get it how you can, whatever it is. But at least you know what you're getting, and then you know when you put it in your hands it should work. And that's the important part. All righty. Woo, that was a heck of a soapbox, wasn't it? Ooh. All righty. What do we got here? All right. Oh, Dublin, Ireland. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's late over there and in Dublin. I will say that we visited there, enjoyed myself immensely. It's and for anybody who's never gone, you should go to, if you really have an idea you want to go traveling, Ireland is probably one of the best places you can go. The people are friendly. The golf is outstanding. And the weather is temperate if you're from my neck of the woods, it's very temperate, and it's very, very easy. And I would suggest it in a minute. Although I would suggest, don't go over there during the World Cup. They are absolutely, I thought we were bad with football. Those guys are bad. Those guys are very, very loyal to their teams, and it was pretty cool to see it. It was very neat. All right, Danny Johnson got a coupon from Callaway today promoting the Epic Driver, 75-mile-an-hour clubhead speed, 67 years old. Is it worth trading my Epic Flash, or I am in the past the new driver, more yards age? Laugh out loud. Well, so the Epic Flash you got the Epic Flash, not the Epic Star. 75 mile an hour. So if you watched My Golf Spy, just to kind of reference it, they did pretty good in the high speed and the low speed swingers. I think the speed is what they want you to use in the 75. And they now have the Cypher in 75. Let's see, yeah. So they have the Cypher in a 40 gram. And you can get the grip that you want on it, and I would stay in the same same loft, right? Same loft, and get. I just wish if you were close to somewhere, go hit it, right? Go hit the speed, go hit it with that cipher in it, and go hit it at the same length, and give it a test, right? Do I think the technology is there that it would beat the Epic Flash? The answer is yes, I do. I do believe it. I didn't think I really, really enjoyed the Epic Flash, one of my favorite drivers, and the Maverick came along, and I didn't think I would like it because I'm a real fan of adjustability, and it didn't have it, but it outperformed it by a little, and not a great amount, but by a little. The sound was way better, right? That loud clang sound. The new Epic is light years better, and it doesn't sound bad, and it keeps you more straight. So I would certainly say it's worth a shot. There we go, Matt. 72.75. Well, I'm catching up. There's at least I got one in, but I wasn't walking. With all the rules for golf club heads or golf clubs and how they are built, which one would make the game a lot which one would make the game a lot easier? With all the rules for golf clubs and how they are built, which one would make the game a lot easier? Well, when you were talking about golf clubs, there's a couple of things. There's golf club design, which means you have certain dimension properties that you're only allowed to build to, even down to putters. The putters have really, there's a lot. You'd be surprised how many rules there are against putters. So you can't, there's a dimensional property across the top, face, from toe to heel, front to back. There's a dimensional ratio that you got to have. There's a certain, they get away with the shape thing, but they don't let you cut a dill pickle in half and put it on a stick and let you putt it. That's not going to work. But they do have some pretty funky designs, don't they? Then you have the curvature, the offset, the double bend can only be so tall. The length of the putter, the way that a putter grip is supposed to be, it's just, and now you're not allowed to anchor it to your chest, but you have the arm lock putters. I mean, so there's a whole lot going on there. And if we wanted to make the game, there's some argument to making the game easier and removing that chest where you had a tall putter or belly putter, and it didn't allow that. That, if I was really stretching out there, that's the one I would go for. A lot of guys might look at, you need the club to be springier, but it doesn't impact the guys that are already good golfers. It doesn't impact. You don't see, and I don't, honestly, when they were really worrying about that one, yeah, and you're talking about a smaller segment, right? A smaller segment where wow, you see all that right there? That's the rain coming down. That's the rain fog. But it doesn't, the putter, when you can get the putter, you can impact a larger segment. So I think that would be better. Dave, what do you say, man? The weather here is awful. I hate that for you guys. What grip do you currently have on your putter, and why did you choose it? I have the Garson Max, and it's a less pronounced version of the BJM putter. So it looks a lot like this, and then it's round on the bottom. Matter of fact, hold on. It's this guy right here. And it has that look right there. Let's see if I can make it look better for you. It looks round there, but when you get on the top, that's where the crease is. All right. And I really struggled with where to put my thumbs and where to put my hands, and I just wanted to, it forces my elbows in so that I'm putting just like this. Unfortunately, and a lot of times I ignore that part of it, and that's what cost me, apparently, those three putts. But once I realized what I was doing, I got my head out of my backside and started getting back into the 2-putt range. So that's why I got that one. And I like the feel. It's got that, you can see that quilted look, right? It's got quilted feel, and I like it. It's not overly aggressive. It's not overly tacky, and it feels good in the hands to me. But that's why. By the way, how's your test going? Did you take it yet, or are you still studying? There's no hurry on that kind of stuff. Kurt Lee Master, how are you, sir? What are your thoughts on the True Temper Elevate 85 ETS in regular for my 65 mile an hour on a set of Apex DCBs? I'm not a big True Temper fan, which you guys would see here, but I do like True Temper. And my most favorite steel shaft rapidly is this Elevate. They have the Elevate red, and then what I call red, it's the red label, and the Elevate black, which is a black label, and that ETS that you're seeing right about there. And it's and Kurt, it depends on how you're coming around, with it. If it's a weight thing and you just like the feel of it, it makes you strike the ball better, then it's far better than any of the other stuff. However, if you think that you would like it lighter, or you have issues with arthritis or joint pain or something along that lines, I would also consider the recoil dart, right? The recoil dart. And it does go down into an F2, which goes with that 65 mile an hour swing speed. However, like I said before, if you're a guy that pulls down on it, then the regular in this would work just fine, and just maybe even in the other one. But yeah, I like the shaft. Now, there's also something else you could do, but I doubt Callaway would do it for you. Is you could, if you're looking to, again, vibration dampening, is they have aftermarket Sensicores, or those little pieces of foam you can put into the back end, and that would probably help you as well. All right. My goal for this season, 1 mission, 36 putts per round. My Capto has arrived. Welcome to the team. Hopefully you told him I said something. During a putter fitting, which tiles do you find help most in decision making during putter fittings? All right, so Dave was talking about is the Capto, which I have one. It's right here. Put it back. This guy, now this is just the box that it comes in, but that's the Capto unit. And basically, it's a very, very informational tool on how you would putt. And it has a grunch of information. It's just packed. And some of the ones that I would look at, Dave, is obviously the path, right? They have arc, path, the way that it comes up into that's the arc, right? Then you have the path. Those are the ones I really, really like. They're the easy ones. Face angle at it, and they have the graphs that go back and forth, so you can see where, because it shows the putter coming back, and then the transition of it going forward, all the way to impact and what you're doing. Some very, very good informational stuff. And it's just, there's a lot to digest when you see that. The other one is that if you're really experimenting with weight, the one that's got the shake, or the where it's got the shake on it, that one I would look at, because you can always tell if you've smoothed out a little bit. Now, you don't have to be perfectly with no colors, but if there's a lot of movement and a lot of yellows and reds in it, then you need to and all of a sudden there's not, then you've made a significant improvement. That's what you're looking for, not a particular line or anything per se. But those are the big ones. And the last but not least is tempo. And you can call those out on the top, right? You can specify what you want. And tempo to see what's happened when you change it. But yeah, that neat little gizmo. And the folks there, the JB from Denmark, he's a big help and extraordinarily knowledgeable on it. So yeah, I don't have any problems dealing with Capto. I have not stocked Seymour Putters. I actually thought about it there for a while and just didn't. Not for any reason other than I didn't. If you can get to them and they'll let you send them long and uncut or whatever, then I'd say you're right there. You know, it's funny is you can get those setting ready to go, and you can make the adjustments using those particular shafts, getting the right correct grip on it. That's as custom as any other putter's going to be. You know, I can only think of one putter, if you really, really want to get customized, back in the day, was a Kirk Curry. And you used to be able to bend offset, lie angle, whatever we wanted in the neck. Then you'd install it, and then you'd put a shaft in. Then you would put a weight in the bottom of the putter, the weight plate, and then there would be a series of weights on the backside. Very much what you see today. And that he was the first. And then if you truly want some hand grinding stuff, Edel or Adele, whatever you want to call him, he's very much seriously hands-on, but it comes with a big price tag. So it's up to you. But I think what you got going on right there, that's a heck of a start. One heck of a start. Mr. Bartholomew, sir, this represents it right there. We are celebrating the last. And for two reasons. Not only did Mr. Bartholomew get this for me, and I didn't tell you guys, but did we do it last time? I don't think so. That we crested 20,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I would say that's fairly significant in the golf genre. Still got a ways to catch up with Shields at 1 million and Finch at 300,000 plus. I think he's probably put 500,000 by now. And but when you stay in the golf equipment realm, it's not nearly as popular as teaching you how to hit golf balls out of the sand or on some of those very, very cool golf courses that they get to go on. Maybe one day. Willard, how are you doing, sir? Hope you're recovering well, if you've gotten there. Patrick, digging on the logo still. Hello from Wisconsin. Hopefully you guys are getting along good. Alvin. There's Alvin. He's on there from Facebook. He is the, I don't want to say it wrong, Alvin. He's a heck of a, we started talking with each other when he was a representative for 2 golf companies ago. And is it Graphite Design, Alvin? Please tell me it is. I hate to think that it's not. And very, very good golf shaft. And Alvin is an absolute plus to that group, I'm here to tell you. Brendan's back from Northern Ireland. I thought maybe you guys had got lifted from that COVID, and I'd never see any of you guys from Ireland or the UK again. Thanks for showing back up. How'd the rounds go so far? Joe Leeds, there we go. Everybody's coming back. Is the weather that bad over there that you guys got in here? Oh, excellent. Well done. So guys over Ireland, UK, how was the first couple of rounds getting out? Were a lot of joints cracking and stuff, or were we doing all right? Let me know. Blackbird Speed. George from Central PA was hoping you would know something about the Odyssey Z11Z irons. The what? I have a set and can't find any info. Odyssey Z11Z irons. George, I'm going to have to say I've never heard of it. Odyssey. I mean, obviously the Odyssey putter. I have not heard that. Let's do it real quick. Let's do something here. Let's see. This is what the listing has been removed. All right. Dude, I can't find anything on them. real quick. I mean, that's just a real quick search, but I'm afraid I don't. It'd be interesting to see what they look like, and then that might jog a memory or two, but I've not seen anything like that before. Chris Cochran, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Well done, man. Cedar Rapids. We used to live there. Have a 9,700 mile an hour driver speed. What benefits would a stiff shag give me that my regular would be lacking? Thanks. Always great content. Chris. Well, you're right at the very top of the regular, bottom of the stiff range, depending on how you come through, Chris. And you're talking, when you get to that point, number one, if it's the right weight, you get the right flex, the right length. Those are the big three in this particular case, since we're just putting it into your woods. The consistency would be tremendous. And if you got into the right length, let's assuming that you're not there, your consistency and the quality of your ball strike would go screaming up, right? Screaming up. Now, just so happens, at St. Andrews over there in Cedar Rapids at St. Andrews, there's a Richard Ralston. He's recently started his journey into the club making industry, and he's been doing it for a couple of years now. I would take a look at him, and because I fit him, we put him through the paces, and take a look at him and see if he can help you with that. But check him out. I'm sure that way you've done some testing, and then that way it's money well spent. Steve, welcome back, buddy. I got up to 90 down here today. Got 18 in this morning, a lesson and a fitting, and getting too hot for all that. I was just looking at that. We were talking to some guys in the office, and I thought I was looking at the Waverly, and I was like, it's supposed to get up to almost 90 tomorrow. He says, oh, yeah, it's supposed to be nice. It's no chance of rain after a whole week of, hey, there's supposed to be rain all week. And I looked down and said, St. Augustine. So then I had to put it back to Waverly, and then the reality set in. But glad to see things are going good, man. Dude, they were good, I have to admit. And I'm not a big proponent of saying that kind of stuff, so very good, but they were. Gonna need some clubs soon. The year of new me continues. Cataract surgery. Both eyes over last month, getting there on vision, but not needing glasses. Oh, nice. Now you're going to need to go buy sunglasses so you don't get blinded. Well, you stay safe with that stuff, man. Don't mess with that kind of stuff. Vision is super duper important. There you go, Pat. Played Whistling Straits yesterday. Oh, dude, that would be so cool to be able to play that. I mean to tell you, it would be super duper. I mean, I would just really like it. What do we do here? Hold one out from 80 yards for the day to birdie after a bad drive with a 56-degree wet. Nice. Well done. Good chip on. That's what we say. We like nice chip. Right? Nice chip. Okay. It's almost getting too dark now. It's getting behind me, isn't it? Jim, when I see all the driver shafts hanging on you behind you for fitting, not today. What length are they? Are they all the same? Cheers, Alex in Australia. Alex, no, they're not. Give me a minute. I couldn't take it. There we go. That's better. They're not a lot of the iron shafts. Holy cow, something's not right here. I'm sorry, fellas. Well, it's getting better. The iron shafts they're different lengths. There's some that are standard, some that are longer for folks to choke down. The other ones, they are in between, what is it? 45 and a half, which I'd very rarely use, down to 44 and a half. In some cases, it really depends on the heads that you put them in, because the ground to the bottom of the board of ground measurement is different, and that's what we like. Jim Cavaleris, are you an advocate for a right-handed golfer with a medium to strong left-handed grip, installing a reminder on the grip's off-center to compensate for his grip not being neutral? No, I'm not. All right, let me think about this one. So left-handed being strong, and this would be underneath of it to put a grip underneath of it. No, actually, look at that. I can just stay right there, and it looks really good. What's up with this camera? No, Jim, I'm not. If you have a strong grip, that's what you are. Depending on what kind of club you have it on, it would be, it might get in the way. For instance, if you have to open one up or not, that kind of thing. And, boy, this is just bothering me. I see Robin in the background waving. Can you see? Okay. Krister, cold Sweden. No, I don't want to hear anything about that, buddy. New Market UK. Andy Taylor. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. This is just killing me not being able to see all this. Try and go back to this. Is this any better? No, it's not. It's not any better whatsoever. Just quit messing with it and just sit down and talk golf. Alrighty. Alrighty. Here we go. Jerry, what do you say, man? We are cutting. Let's start over. Cut 1/2 inch off my driver, now 45. Had that weight to the head just to get it back to 3.5. Swing weight feels okay, but I did have D 5.0. Shall see if it makes a difference tomorrow when I hit the range. That's a pretty heavy swing weight for a driver, Jerry. When it comes to swing weight, guys, there is something to be said about having a good swing weight, but it's not the cure-all, end-all of a iron or a driver. More about the total weight and how it hefts for you, and that's where we go with that one. But some people are very, very sensitive to swing weight and can detect a bunch of different changes, and it impacts their swing. But I'm more about the total weight because that has a much higher of an impact. There's my buddy Bob. Buddy, I broke 80. I'm getting close to you now. I'm almost there. Is there much difference between the Dynamic Gold S300 and S400? Brendan, if I told you absolutely nothing, would you believe me? And I'm here to tell you nothing because that's the only difference. The difference in the S's is weight sorting. Okay, it's the span and weight sorting. And as the numbers get smaller, the band gets smaller as well. So for instance, I'll just throw out a number. I don't know what the real widths are, but let's just say an S300 weighs in at 125. That means when you get one and you buy a package of them, one could be, say, 122 and the other one could be 127. All right, it's just that kind of a width. Now that's a wide band, but I'm just doing it to prove a point. And then what happens is that when you, I'm just going to leave my hand here. And when you, as you get up the set, they get smaller. And to one point where I believe it's the 200s or the 300s, and it very well might go the other way, that it's only 1 gram difference. So that when you buy this set, that you are getting, if you want a 125, you're pretty guaranteed that you're going to get 125. All right, I am going to leave my hand up here. Look at that stuff. Alrighty, let's see what else we got here. Landon Chapman, whatever. At what age or height should a competitive junior get a legit fitting? Landon, that's a heck of a question. And what that is the it's two. Number one, a lot of it has to do with skill sets. If the junior golfer, regardless of age, is a phenom like person, probably want to get one as soon as you can. However, let's just say if we're talking a junior golfer that is, say, 10 to 12 years old, right? 10 to 12, and you want 10 to, that thing is just crazy today. If you get to 10 to 12 and they're doing very well, I've fit 10 and 12-year-olds, but you got to let them know you're coming. I had to make a few changes for slightly shorter clubs, but you'd be surprised. They can get into like an inch short and play the heck out of them. But I would look at, when I think about this, I think of a couple things. One, burnout. One, which goes with having fun, still being competitive, and then getting a quality set underneath of them after they've done all that, right? And honestly, I would go down as low as 8 if they were really, really good, but on the average, somewhere in that 11, 12 range is probably a pretty good number. And the height is really kind of irrelevant. I based a lot of it on skill. Now, if they're, let's say they're extraordinarily tall for their age category, like they're 12 years old and they're 6 foot tall. Well, yeah, you're probably not going to find a bunch of a junior stuff that's going to fit them, and you're going to have to go into adult stuff, maybe even ladies clubs or ladies type stuff. And then that way you can, that way they have, better contact, better distance, more control, and when it comes right down to it, a lower score. There he's back. Well done, sir. Nope, I went down to the bottom again. Let's see what we got here. Brandon did that one. Krister, play the Pro Force. It's soft and alive compared to the other stuff. Except for torque, what effect can flex feel in a shaft? All right, we got to start all over this one, bud. Play the Pro Force 7 F4, and for everybody that doesn't know what that means, that's a 70-gram stiff flex. Oh, he says it right after. With a 2.2 torque, which means it's very, very tight. It doesn't feel boardy at all. The Pro Force, okay. It's soft and alive compared to other stiff X-Flex stuff. Except for torque, except for torque can affect the feel of the shaft? Profile. The first one is profile, where they emphasize that they want the control of the club. So if you're in the like the butt of the shaft, the middle shaft, or the tip of the shaft, typically one of two things. If it's very, 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 very butt stiff, it will have that boardy feel because it won't transmit. Or if it's extraordinarily stiff in the tip section, you may not like it as well. But the profile and the way that it gets down there, and as you said, torque is another thing that impacts the feel, and then the last thing, it's kind of funny, but it's true, is the grip that goes on it. Okay, that can get you as well. Kevin, how are you, sir? There you go. What's up, bro? Made as dirt. Old shirt. I just didn't put on an apron. That's what it all was. Dude, if you shot that at the straights, I'd be totally impressed. Mr. Joe, where are you at this time? Let's read. Hope you guys had a good week. Currently laying under a passenger seats fixing phone charging plugs. Joe, where are you doing it at, man? The places that you go are just incredible. Here we go. What's your favorite Model 3 wood in the last 3 years? All right, let me preface this my answer with the fact that I don't carry fairway woods. I am more of a hybrid person, and I really, really like them. You can ask Bob, who was on here earlier, and he will tell you that I do not need to carry a 3-wood. However, in the last 3 years, well, I know that what was it? We'll go back. So if we went in the last 3 years, that would only take us into let's go into the last 2 model years, because that's what I think we're at. We got the current year, which in this particular year, I've got kind of 2 that I like the look of, and I've seen some stuff from performances, is the Mizuno, that STX. I like it. I also like the Callaway and the Epic Speed, although the Max is probably going to be a favorite of most, but I think it's a little thin, where the Speed's a little taller and a more shape that if I was looking for one, that's what I like. It's a little more round. In the previous year, we're talking about Mavericks and the same STX line. Wilson had one, but in that year, I believe one of the more favored ones was a Cobra. The F9 Cobra, I think, was well liked. I didn't have a favorite that year. I didn't think it was a good year for fairway woods. And then we go back into the other one and back into the Epics, and the Epic was a good one again. They did really good with that AI face stuff, and I'm not real good with all the 3 woods. Who is another one? I had a lot of guys bringing in the Titleist at that time frame. The TS lines, they were doing pretty good with that one. Matthew O'Malley, how are you, sir? Glad to see that you made it. Ray Fair from SoCal. Well, there you go. If you know, how do the NS Pro 950s compare to the Elevate 95s? Very close in weight. Yes, they are. I think the Elevate will hit the NS Pro will probably feel a tad better because it's a little softer in the butt section. Create a slightly higher ball flight, where the 95, there we go, 95, where the 95 is more of a, it'll still be a high ball flight, but more boring, or a lower ball flight than the 50. Okay, both are very, very good shafts. I like them both, so I don't see going wrong either way. But if you're looking for a little bit higher, then it's the NS Pro. Dave, ICG test, still studying. Very good. Trying to increase my knowledge of ball flight laws. Very good, man. Well done. You think you know so much until you realize you don't. And that's honest to God truth right there. So for those guys, Dave is now a member of the ICG, the International Club Fitters Guild, or Club Makers Guild. And he asked me questions throughout, kind of a mentorship kind of thing, and he's doing very, very well, and he's taken the studying on, and he's taken the testing on. He keeps on this path, he'll be quite a relevant force over in the UK for sure. Okay, cutting 1.5 of even flow black 410. Should I tip trim or use the wind light grip to add more weight to the head? Well, I'd probably end up doing both because, Guy, it's going to be very, very light no matter what. Okay, that's a lot of swing weight points. The wind light grip will gain you some, and keep in mind we're just tricking it. If there was a way, and I know sometimes you don't like it, a lot of people don't like it, is you might want to consider some lead tape. If you're cutting the even flow back on a 410 club, one of two things. If it's got a weight, put a weight in, exchange the weight for something heavier. That way the cosmetics are not done, or they're not ruined. But if you're not one of those guys that mind it, consider a little bit of lead tape. Lead tape goes a long way for feel and emplacement, and you can probably get it back that way. Jim, how you doing, buddy? Now, very good. Let's see how that works out. All right. Oh, you asked me that one. Yep. Thank you, Charles. The 20,000 was really quite the thing. It's a big deal. It is a big deal. I think so, and it's just a lot. It's a lot of work. It's really a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I'm going to start this vlogcast. It just means to get free. If that worked out, buddy, you know it. I just met a fellow submariner who has a really large heart. Adrian, how are you, sir? From the wet, miserable Canberra, Australia. And you're here, you're seeing us in the morning. Well done, sir. Well, we're wet and miserable, too. If you look right over here, all that's rain. All that wet, white blowout right there, that's rain. And there's Al, got his D9s, and he's loving them. Thank you, sir. There you go. Look at that. Just had to set it without looking. Jim Lee, what do we say, sir? Have a Scotty Cameron 38-inch counterbalance for Chura X5. Needs to be regrip. Is the counterbalance weighting in the grip or in the shaft? I'd like to know before I remove the grip. You'll know. It depends on the length of the grip, Jim. So if it's one of those really long ones, those 38-inchers, sometimes if it has just the standard grip on it, then no, it's not in the grip. But what they did in that day is that you know your grip was like, we'll use this. The grip was like that's standard, right? And the 38-inchers, they went down like this far. It was very, 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 very long, like 17, 18 inches. And if it's in 17, 18 inches, the sheer weight of the grip was the counterbalance. Okay, so what you want is something in the same length category, and that should put you right back where you're at. Now, there's also another way of doing this. If you want a regular, if you're the 38-inch and it has a standard grip on it, of course, number one, you don't have to worry about it. But let's say you want to go to a standard grip. They make these things from Golfworks called Tour Lock, and it's a weight you can insert in the back, and it shouldn't take very much, and get you one that's about a 20 or 30 gram, and you'd be fine. Good enough, Jim. Glad you're on there, bud. Joseph, that is I'm not even going to say it's a loaded question. How do you get a correct fitting on the internet or over the phone? Correct that is a very tricky term, in that the proper, let's start with the beginning. At the proper, no kidding, everything evaluated, is normally in person. That way the fitter can see what you're doing, can get all these things taken care of. However, we'll do that. However, there are places that it's a very, very long drive to go get fit. I've talked with some people, we've had them on here, where guys have been from Alaska. You know, there's not a whole lot going on in Alaska for that kind of stuff. Canada, there's been some places in Canada where the drive is very, very far. Texas, they're Kansas, just in these places where they've been, the fitter is just, it's inconceivable to go get fit. So your second choice is over the phone, talking with somebody that you're going to have to trust and get kind of a feel for. Over the internet without seeing you, personally, I'd say that's a stretch. But over the phone, where you can get a select series of questions answered, and for the fitter, because each one of us has a different priority in how we want things to fit. The bottom line is, are you walking away swinging better? Now, and I would say that there's a handful of folks there that are over the phone can do a pretty good job, because you've been doing this. We've been doing this 20 plus years, and you can get some certain things. Now, what it really depends on, and this is where the onus is on the golfer, right? When I say, "Are you aggressive?" and they go, "Oh yeah, I'm just really aggressive," and and they go, "Yeah, you're really aggressive," and in a lot of cases you're not. Or the one that most golfers fail, and this is across the board, good, bad, or in between. How far do you hit? What's your 150 club? Or how far do you hit your driver? We all have this better sense of ourselves than what we've seen. And for instance, in here I was messing around with a 7-iron, and I was feeling pretty good, and I hit one 200 yards. Does that mean I hit my 7-iron 200 yards? Absolutely not. That was just one of those where all the planets align, and it happens once. But what's my average, right? What is my average? Well, it's probably closer on an 8 or on a 7-iron. It's probably closer to 175. That's a 25-yard shot. But if you come in here and you say, well, 200, and okay, let's hit them, and you can't crank out more than 175, and you're like, well, what's going on? And so you have to have a very real sense of self when you're going over the phone. Be prepared to ask some very personal questions about that kind of stuff, and then I think you can get a good one from there. But outside of that, pretty much no. There's my man, Dimpled Sphere, Tennessee. Woo! Beautiful springtime. I bet it is really pretty down there right about now. Can an iron shaft be too light to where it hurts your elbow and your shoulder? Yeah. Yeah, it can, because it can throw you out, right? If it throws your timing out, and let's say you cast or you flick, or it causes these sharp movements because it's lighter. The big thing is that when you bring it back and it gets too light, you lose it, and so now you're doing all these movements in order to find it. So yeah, it can. What I would look for is and one thing that might help you is, if you've got the ability and you think it's a little bit too light, is, again, here's me with this lead tape funnel, but put a little bit of lead tape just slightly under the grip to the just where it's sticking out. If this was the grip right here, and start it about halfway and bring it about another 2 or 3 inches, and put a couple of lines on it so it's sitting right underneath your hands, and then go out and play and see if it doesn't hurt after that, and then you'll know. Oh, Robin's answering. She's ratting me out, man. All right, what do you need, bud? Jim, can you explain again about the aftermarket shaft styles, i.e. set of shafts that are stock lengths versus irons that are not, and they cut down for each one? Thanks. Oh, okay. So what he's asking here is, he asked the last time, or somebody asked, difference between taper tip and parallel, which gets us to where you insert them, and butt trim, or tip trim and butt trim. Okay, and what are the differences in there? And not necessarily, Guy, that they're all aftermarket. They can go into OEMs as well. So what are we saying? So we start off the conversation with taper tip or constant weight shafts, right? Taper tip or constant weight shafts. Typically what it would go in, they would insert into the hosel and you would trim them off because they were all the same weight. You would pack up the same weight in this much length versus this much length versus this much length, okay? And they were all the same weight within a few grams. And then you would just butt trim. And the idea was that it felt good. Now, in the day, that was probably the true thing, but the performance was extraordinarily different. Then comes the idea of, there's Mrs. McGolf in the background. She's trying not to be seen. Then comes parallel tip 370s. And 370 allowed for frequency matching. And frequency matching was matching the flex, and that was a big deal. So you would tip trim based on weight of the head, the length, the whole 9 yards, and you would put it in, and then you would trim to the length of the club that you wanted, same as once it was installed as the other one. However, they were all the same length at that weight, and the idea was when you cut them down, that each weight, because you would tip trim a little bit more on the tip, and then it would be very, very similar on the back. So these weights would be different weights, but the heads would be heavier, so it came out to the same. It's just a whole lot of measuring, a whole lot of science. So the real question is that you have, but now there are some like Nippons out there, and they have discrete length parallel tip irons. So the lines have been blurred a little bit, and so you really need to keep that in mind. For ease of build, if you're just trying your hand at this and you're wanting to make sure you're doing it right, the taper tip into a taper tipped hosel, easiest way to go. However, if you're looking to manipulate flexes and have fun trekking it out, and you got a CPM machine or a profile or whatever, then it's parallel in just about any head that you can get, other than say a Titleist or a Mizuno, or even the Players model in Callaway. All those are going to be probably taper tipped, where the rest of them will be parallel. So just give your hand at that. Okay, good. Just did that. Here we go. Hornsey UK. All you guys there, I'm telling you, it must have been a very, very cold or very, very dull day or something. Very good, but thank you for coming or watching. All right, shot an 83, net 65, one scratch qualifier. Not bad, buddy. Well done. Jumbo Max extra small, great grips. Just need driver sorting. High slice. Any advice? M1 2017. High slice. If you are using, so in the UK, you really don't like the high ball flight anyway. We like getting through the air, through the wind. High slices are normally a couple of things. Number one is the length of the club is far too long. And what that is that delays you from, well, let's go the other way. It delays you from delivering the club head to square. All right, over here, I use the baseball analogy that if you're standing up there and you're batting and you can't bring the bat around, they give you this motion, and that's the motion to choke up the bat. And then that way you can bring the club around a little bit easier. And so that's a lot of that one. Another one can be that it's either too stiff and you're just not getting it closed, which if you shot a net 83, chances are that's probably not going to be happening. Or it's just too heavy. And again, if it's an M1, unless you got some sort of special super duper shaft in there, chances are that's not it either. And the other part is if I don't know if the M1 has adjustability or whatever, but I would make sure if you have any weight that's in the toe that it is at its lightest, and anything going towards the heel, it's at its heaviest. And that should help you out. Oh, and one other thing, and this is not golf club related, but it is tee the ball down. Tee the ball down and watch your attitude towards the swing change on it too. Steven, how are you, sir? Love the TZ6. Good. Ooh, the direct force. That's a neat putter. It looks like a snake killer, but I tell you what, one of my very first putters had a balance that was very similar to that. The direct force guys wouldn't like me saying it, but it is very, very neat, and it is very, very stable, and is very back and is very forward. So good deal. And they have that force feel, or it's got a name on the grip that presses it forward a little bit more. I think you'll like it. I'm glad you like the TZ6. Good job. I don't have any blinds, otherwise I would. I could turn it and we could see the shafts again, and that would probably solve all my ills, but we're so close to the end. In fact, I'm probably towards my end, so there it is. Yeah. So next time we'll have it turned, I'll get back to the TV screen and we'll get rid of this crud. Yeah. Okay, Joseph, I have Mizuno irons MX-15. Like to put new shafts, but don't know which shafts to put in there. Can you help me? Yeah, I probably could. Yep. Oh, she's giving me the sign, guys and gals. Yeah, we could probably help you out if you know what you... number one is two things. Whether you want us to do that, yes, we can. If you need a little bit of help, send me some specifics. And if you want us to do it, send some specifics anyway. That way we can at least get close and into the range, just like we were talking before. All right. A couple more. All right. Glad you like Ted. There you are. Ted Solich loves his hybrids. Robin. That was the dogs came out. Oh, look, you can see the trees now. Yeah. Mike Engel from Indiana. How are you, sir? Glad you could join us. Robin's not an Indian. She's a Hoosier. But that's okay. Oh, last one. Here we go. 50 watching and only 18 lights. Let's help get this guy some info. There you go. Dan, appreciate that, sir. Okay, guys, this is the last one anyway. So, oh, we got one more. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. They're all sitting like right back here. All right, so guys, number one, don't forget the video tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Number two, like and subscribe on this one, and it'll carry over for some more. No worries on that. Number three, we do have some merchandise. It's an apron with the McGolf logo on it, or it's a tour towel. If you send Mrs. McGolf an email at mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, she can help you out with that. And guys, we will see you again next week, a Monday, and hopefully everything goes well. And guys, like usual, let's see your scores go low.